In this video, we'll explore the Levels Manager and how you can manage your geometry on those levels. As you can see in this current file, we have about a dozen or so levels. The first column lists the number of the level. The second column has an X whether that level is visible. So for example, if I turned on level 85, you'll see that the vise is on that level. The name lists the name of the level. We have a column here called Level Set, which allows you to group levels together. And we have a column for entities, which will list how many entities are in that level. We also have tools along the top, which will allow you to add a new level, find a level based on the geometry, turn all levels on, turn all levels off. You can also reset all levels to the state it was in when you opened the file. You can also use this button here to hide the properties below. And then you have some options for displaying. For example, contrasting rows. If I turn that off, you'll see that the rows are no longer alternating between gray and white. Personally, this is an easy option to keep on because it helps visualize your levels better. But you have other options in here, like active level is always visible. I recommend keeping this on. That way, whatever level you're actively using, it has to be displayed. Let's create a new level by going to the plus key up here. This allows you to add a new level. It defaults to level 1, however, there's no name here. I can either double click in here to add a name, or I could do it down here in the name field. We're going to call this Wireframe Geometry. I want to put all of the wireframe geometry that's on my screen on that level. So I can select the geometry by choosing it from the screen here. Now, interesting to note, a few videos ago, we explored the selection bar, and one of the options that we chose was polygon. That setting remained the same. And so when I tried selecting the geometry to put onto a certain level, it wanted me to polygon select. I'm going to change it back to automatic. That way I can select the geometry manually. In Mastercam, you do not have to hold down the control key when you want to select pieces of geometry. Simply select them one at a time and they will get selected. Now that they're selected, I can simply right-click, and one of my options up here is Change Level, which is the same function as the Home tab. And under the Organize group, Change Level. It does the same thing. Right-clicking is more convenient in most cases, however you can access it from the Home tab as well. With the geometry selected, by clicking on this button, I can choose whether I want to move or copy the geometry to that level. In this case, I want to move it, and I want to move it to the active level, which happens to be 1, which is what I named Wireframe Geometry. And you'll notice currently there are no entities on this level. But as soon as I click OK, now level 1 goes to the top and there's 6 entities on it. I moved the geometry from whatever levels they were on to the wireframe geometry level. There's also right-click options within the Level Manager. You can select all entities to select all the entities on a level, or to unselect them. You can cut, copy, and paste. You can refresh your levels. You can also clear empty levels, and that could include just the level that you have selected or all levels. Basically, this would be all levels that are unused you could delete. We also have some reporting functions if you want to report on the levels, including how much geometry is on those levels. You can import and export your named levels. We also have this option here called Level Set. A level set, as listed in this column here, is a grouping of levels. So for example, let's just say you had a really complex fixture and you had multiple parts and assemblies to that fixture, and that fixture was on 20 different levels. Well, you could assign the same level set to all of those levels. So for example, that level set might be called fixture geometry. And you might have 20 different levels that all are part of the same level set. You can then right-click on that level set and say all level set on and off, and it will turn on all of those levels. Again, this is just another convenient way of managing your geometry. You'll notice that as your parts get more and more complex, you'll be using the Levels Manager more and more to organize your geometry.